I sent it to your email.
Okay.
One sec.
Do you want me to go through some like logistical things while you guys are getting that sorted?
No, I'm good now.
You're
Okay.
good. Okay.
So, hi everyone. We have internet issues here, so I have camera off until something changes, but we're lucky to have three rising second years on the call with us, which is insane. And then Mackenzie also, who you've probably met through the admissions process. So what I wanted to do today is just go over Forte generally, and then some logistics, and just make sure you have our faces and names as resources as you go into the next couple weeks, month, and prepare to get going on this process. So, Mari, did anything come through, or is,
I have not received anything yet,
yeah,
Courtney.
I think it's because of the internet. Okay, well, first I'm going to introduce myself. So, um, I am Courtney Fain, and I work in the CMC mainly with consulting and strategy folks. I've been at Owen for 9 years and I help support Forte in particular. So if you are attending in Denver, then you will see me. And Mackenzie, do you want to do a brief intro on yourself?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Mackenzie Mulligan. I am an associate director, just as Courtney said, with the recruiting and admissions team. So I also work closely with Forte, kind of more on the recruiting and admissions side day to day, but help to manage the partnership and along with Courtney go to the conference every year. So I can be a point of contact at any point for any questions around Forte or the conference as well. And so, yeah, excited to see you all there this summer.
Thank you. And I'm going to have the students introduce themselves in a little bit, but first I'm going to go through some tactics and then I know y'all want to hear from them. So we'll get to the panelists in a minute. Okay, so Forte Leadership Conference is June 13 and 14 in Denver. And from what our discussions on teams have looked like, it sounds like the Sheridan maybe booked all of the rooms. But Mackenzie and I are going to look close by. And if we find alternates, we're happy to share that with you all if you are still looking for a place to stay or anything. So don't let that worry you too much. But
I'm gonna jump in.
yeah.
I did realize there is availability. It's just you have to be, I saw it this morning, you have to be using the link that they offer. It's like their room block link. I put it in the group and then I'll put it in the chat too, so everyone has it. But it seems like the hotel is filling up pretty quickly.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's good. At least there's some rooms.
Yeah, because I tried to book it yesterday outside of the room block and was like, oh, it's booked. And then I saw this today. So there is that, and that should work.
Good. Thank you. Um, okay. And the purpose for Forte, in my mind, it's really to kickstart your network, not only network, but networking. You have the opportunity to onboard to this entire process of career search early as a Forte member and as you attend this conference. And so you're going to hopefully interact with other MBAs and then other or employers as well. So we kick things off with a dinner that Mackenzie kindly organizes. So you start with Owen folks, get to know each other. I have every year seen folks that really find their people at Forte and have like a crew to come into Owen with, which I just love. So that's definitely part of it. But then the next couple days are meant for you to interact with employers if we have alum, but to not only hear like what are you hiring, but what does your company do? What does the marketing role do? What do things look like for MBAs? And then also more generally, what's it like being a female in a company doing these roles? So overall, that's what comes from it. You're not going to necessarily go and come away with a job offer. That can certainly happen, or a follow-up interview could happen, but it may not. But I still think it's very worth engaging in Forte and engaging in this conference. So I'm excited that you all are interested. So now I'm gonna kick off. Oh, also, Mackenzie, do you want to explain the logistics of your event that Thursday before I kick it to panel?
Yeah, I'll go through just kind of a few quick things. So as Courtney said, we host a dinner every year, for the women that are attending, and then we try to bring in some alums as well that are hopefully like in the area. So that'll be Thursday night. So that's Thursday, June 12th. Courtney and myself, we actually arrive like late Wednesday, and then we're there all Thursday. There's like a partners aspect to the conference. So we're there Thursday and we typically head out Friday morning. So just kind of for a reference. And then obviously for you all, the conference would be Friday and Saturday. So we will have that kickoff dinner. It's Thursday, June 12th. Still finalizing the location, but I anticipate the time to probably be around 6:30. So if anyone is in town already, it's a great way to just kind of like socialize, hang out, meet everyone. It's a good kickoff to the event. So I will get details out about that. So just kind of be on the lookout for that. I would anticipate probably in a week or 2 weeks latest, I'll have information about that. So I'll send that out information out. We talked about the hotel. I sent in the chat the room block link for that. And I know there's other options as well. It is, I think, helpful if you can stay at the hotel just because everything's happening there. But again, there's other options too. And then one other thing is every year there is like a spirit day for the conference. So that's going to be on Saturday. So you'll see when you're there, like all schools will wear like school colors and things like that. So I will order everyone t-shirts to wear on that Saturday. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. If you will just fill this out, and I'll also follow up if I don't have everyone's info. But if you'll just fill this out, it's just inputting your t-shirt size so we can get those ordered. And I'll share those. I'll hand those out at the dinner. Or the next day, I'll facilitate getting those out to everyone. So again, that will be on Saturday. The t-shirts are white with black writing. I think that's helpful to know, just if you're planning your outfits and things like that. So yeah, if you'll fill that out. And then, like I said, I'll be in touch with the details on the dinner.
I just want to give a props. I think Mari will remember the dinner. I especially just get really excited. It's really fun. I think it's a moment to like shake off nerves a bit beforehand and get to know people. So I'm a proponent. Mackenzie usually puts together a really fun event. So while I know this is a career-driven thing, it's just a really nice moment to get to see everyone, meet everyone.
Yes, we
So.
have fun.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Y'all, my internet's working. You see
You're
this? Okay,
back.
sorry. Okay. Mari, will you go to the next slide, please?
Yes. It's full screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Dun da da. Okay, so main event, I've pulled in 3 females who have just finished everything. They are heading into summer, and then gonna come back and be peers of y'all's. So I wanted to hear from them and have them tell you their experience. And also I will open it up to Q&A as we move forward. But first and foremost, could we do some intros? So Alexis, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Alexis. I am incoming second year. That's crazy to say. I remember like being on this Zoom last year, so I'm like, this is so crazy. And I'm concentrating in marketing, and I will be going to Philips Oral Health Care this summer, working on their brand team for the toothbrushes.
It's so cool. Rosie, and Rosie, please shout out where you are right now because it's so impressive. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I already miss you guys. I'm super excited to be here and tell you all about our Forte experience. So my name is Rosie Kim. I'm also raising second year, originally from Seoul, South Korea. So I just arrived back home last night. So it's 2 a.m. here. This is the perfect timing to do something meaningful instead of battling jet lag. So thank you. At school, I'm involved in Admission Fellow, will serve as a board for the Distinguished Speaker Series, and I'll also be meeting some of you guys as a second year peer coach. This summer, I'll be in LA interning at Mattel in a marketing role.
Thank you. Mari?
Yeah. Well, just like Alexis said, I remember this very distinctly a year ago. It doesn't seem like a year ago where we were in your shoes, but my name's Mari Smith, also incoming first year. I am concentrating right now. We'll see how it ends up, but taking classes focused on operations, strategy, and marketing. And we'll be interning at Nissan this summer. Actually, it's an operations internship in their after sales and accessories department. So I'll be here in Nashville, which I'm excited about. And I am involved, I'm a peer coach, so I'll probably maybe be working with some of you next year. I work in admissions, so I've met probably a lot of you at different prospective student events. And I'm a host for the podcast, A Thousand Ways to Lead next year. So very excited for that.
Thanks, y'all. So my first question is, I know I overviewed my perspective of the purpose of the conference. Could you all high level describe takeaways you remember? And then we'll get into maybe some preparation and details in that end, but just upfront takeaways and positives from the Forte conference last year.
Yeah, I can start. I mean, so I think everyone kind of has maybe different objectives when going into the Forte conference. I'll tell you my personal objectives, and Rosie and Alexis may have had different ones. So I'll just be candid with everyone. I was looking at it more of like this is an opportunity to get to know my incoming, classmates at Owen, and kind of build bonds with them. And then also I took it as more like exploratory wise from a career perspective. I came into Owen really recruiting for like potentially recruiting for 3 to 4 different paths. And so I really focused on going to those different, you'll have in the afternoon, I don't know if you have the agenda yet, but different like concentration snapshots. So I focused on like the brand one, the operations one, I focused on the consulting one, just to kind of get an idea of women who are working in those areas, and what it's like, and some potential companies as well. So if you like want to get a kickstart and do coffee chats and even do interviews, like power to you. I think that's great. I just wasn't in the mindset to quite do that yet. I stopped working actually August 1st. So I was like, it was just kind of a lot. But I still think it was so worthwhile to meet these wonderful women and then also just kind of get an idea of like what it's like to attend, different info sessions and meet professionals and kind of give your mini elevator pitch because you'll be having to do that a lot in your first year.
Yeah, I think I was pretty similar to Mari. I really wanted to come because I wanted to kind of have a strong basis of like connection before even going into school. And like I can tell you, like walking into orientation and already recognizing like 20 faces honestly made such a difference and was like a nice security blanket when there's so many new people around you. So it was like really valuable to get to meet my classmates. And then I think kind of similarly, like it's a good time to kind of shake off the dust. Like I hadn't done recruiting in like a traditional sense like this in a pretty long time. So it was nice to kind of have that practice and get the reps in of like, what is my elevator pitch? What is my story? And kind of start building those connections and kind of again exploring those paths that maybe I hadn't thought about before. I also really liked the sessions because it was a good opportunity to kind of hear people who are already in those roles and what it like actually looks like on the day to day. So yeah, I think it can kind of be a choose your own adventure for how much you want out of it, really.
Yeah, 100% agree on Alexis and Mari said. So myself, my biggest takeaway from Forte wasn't about landing something immediately, but it was about learning how the job market and the professional networking in the US, like how does it work? So I think this biggest takeaway from the Forte was like, how should I act? How should I behave in the coffee chat or the meeting the potential companies that might gonna hire me? So for me, it was about building network and also meeting women and enjoy this kind of stage because for me as an international student, it was kind of very new setting. So I think to sum up, just building network would be my biggest takeaway from the Forte.
Yeah, I'm like nodding the whole time as y'all are talking. Yes, yes, I completely agree. So with that in mind, could y'all talk about some, if any, preparations that you did prior? In my mind, it's usually hitting on a resume that you're ready to showcase. But then also, Alexis, you mentioned this like dusting off the cobwebs and just being ready to talk about yourself. If you do that with CMC or family or friends or any other preparations that you might have done that you remember would be really helpful to hear about from any of y'all.
I think the resume prep with like the CMC was extremely helpful and also helpful in like helping me realize what is like my overarching theme of who I am like in the business world. I think because you kind of go through all the things I went through it with Courtney. You like go through all like what you've done kind of in your points. So it kind of helps you get that basis of what your story is. So I think that's a good like stepping point to kind of realize like how do I take what's on this page and actually make it like come to life in a conversation. And then can kind of practice as much or as little as you need based on how you feel comfortable speaking about yourself. But I think the resume, I would definitely talk to someone in the CMC beforehand. It's really helpful.
I would double down on what Alexa said. I guess I assume it's the same as last year. There's an app, a Forte app that you can download and put in some of your information in your bio. I put that in, I think companies probably look at those. So I would put that information in there. I think you can upload your resume if as well, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess like apart from definitely, I think number one is meeting with a CMC coach to review your resume. But number two, I would say just like looking at the different companies that are going to be there and maybe just kind of making either a mental list or writing down some of those companies that you might want to talk to, because on the first day that evening on Friday, you're going to have a career fair, and it is like little chaotic, at least it was last year. There's a lot of women from different MBA programs that are going to be attending, and they all want to talk to a lot of the same companies, but at least like having a list like, oh, Pepsi's going to be here or Ecolab's going to be here, what have you. And, making sure that you get some FaceTime with them. And then what I did essentially is like I got, the recruiters' names, their emails, and then, you can send a follow-up just so they kind of, might know who you are when you are ready to maybe recruit with them. So I think that's the biggest thing that I would do. And then maybe like if you're totally in the exploratory phase, maybe just kind of like thinking about, hey, what kind of concentration snapshots would I want to attend? I know for Welcome Weekend, we had that as well, the different concentration snapshots. So you might have already thought about that, but just just kind of looking at the agenda, seeing what interests you, what companies interest you. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I was nodding the whole time. I prepared I prepared three things before I went to the Forte conference. The first thing I did was I researched companies ahead of time. So I looked up which companies were attending and made a must-visit list in the Word document. So I spent some time on each, like their mission, values, their products, and came up with 3 or 4 questions that really dialed in. So it really helped me that show up with intention. For example, let's say Mattel. So I really admire Mattel's mission to inspire the next generation to play. So I'd love to hear how that translates into your marketing role. So I prepared this kind of questions that I should ask to the companies. It really helped me a lot. And also what I did was I updated the LinkedIn before I went to the conference. So I made sure my summary reflected what I've been doing. And that way, if someone look up my LinkedIn profile after the conversation, they could instantly know what I've been doing so far and what I'm interested in. And the last thing I did was I did 2 sessions with CMC coaches. First thing I did resume update. It was super helpful updating my resume into OM format. And also I did pitch preparing session. So I tried to like practice how to explain my stories, and I tried to brush up on why I applied to the MBA program, why I'm interested in this industry. So I tried to prepare to elaborate my story in the conference. So this kind of things helped me a lot prepare for the conference.
I had totally forgotten that LinkedIn note is really good because my next question is follow-up, and LinkedIn is utilized for follow-up in many cases. My last question, then I'll turn it over, is what did y'all do afterwards? Like once you left, was there maintenance of anyone you met? Was there further information gathering on certain companies? What did that look like?
Yeah, for me, like I kind of already mentioned this, but definitely what Rosie said, the people that I talked to at that job fair, if I don't know if that's how they actually, but the job fair on Friday night, I added them on LinkedIn and even sent them a little personal message. And then I don't think I did both. I think some of them, like if I had like a longer conversation with them, I actually they gave me their email, so I sent them an email, and some of them I sent them just the LinkedIn connection and the message that went with that. So I think that goes a long way. I truly do. Because then, when it comes time for, doing coffee chats and, submitting an application, like they already know who you are. You've already had FaceTime with them and, hopefully they can advocate you and vouch for you to get the interview. So I'd say that's the biggest follow-up. I don't know if Alexis and Rosie have anything else.
Second that. I think it's so much of recruiting, I think, is about that personal touch. So I think if you can start that connection like as early as possible, it really can be beneficial.
Yeah, I did also personal message after I had conversation. And one thing really helped me was that after having a conversation, instead of going to the another booth, I took a time to like write down their names and the conversation I had. So it really helped me to write a personal message after the conversation. One mistake I did was um, looking back, it looked a little bit creepy because I wrote like 4 paragraphs of like personal LinkedIn message after because I was really inspired by their by conversation. But make sure that having personal message a little bit concise and get to the point. I think that's great tip that you guys can use.
I would agree. And also I blabber and then I'm like, no, this person's not going to read this whole thing. Just get to it. I love that.
Exactly.
I know. I'm very talented at that. So since we have you all, I would love to open it up to the incoming students. If you all have questions, you can unmute yourself and or put it in the chat and I'm happy to share. No.
There's one thing I was thinking that
Yeah.
actually second year gave us this advice on this webinar last year that I wanted to relay to all of you. So even though it's only 2 days, like I'm sure you guys have all gone to conferences before that are longer, it is a very long 2 days. And, when it's a networking conference and you're having to kind of like bring your A game, it can be socially exhausting. And so I would just say like, if like this is truly what I did. There was during the afternoon there was a session that was a half hour and I was just feeling really mentally exhausted and just didn't feel like I could like give it my all. And so I just went to my hotel room because the hotel room was connected to where the conference was and just went and kind of just like had a little bit of me time for a half hour and came back down. I'm, maybe the 2 days won't be as intense as they for you guys as they were for me, but I mean it's a great type of intensity, don't get me wrong, but like take some time for yourself. I think that was really helpful. I actually did that both days and just I was able to kind of just like rest a little bit and then also kind of reflect on my morning, and then I felt like I was able to like give more of who I truly am in the afternoon sessions because of that.
I also took some me time when I had empty, so I second that advice.
I thought I was the only one.
No, I had to escape at one point too. I was like, I am mentally drained, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you feel it, just like take a minute because it'll be better in the long run for sure.
Yeah, they're long days. I would also say for treks and for conferences like this, shoes are important.
Oh, yes.
Like I know y'all want to look like here we come, but just remember you're going to be standing and walking and you're tired regardless. So think about those shoes.
That's big. Yes.
I don't really have any questions, but it was good to talk to all of
I
you
know I'm
or
like
hear you
waiting. I
guys.
keep seeing you on mute. I'm like, come on. What do you got? What do you got? I have a question that I meant to ask y'all. What did y'all, this is very particular. What did y'all pack to wear? What did you wear each day, and what did you feel was appropriate each day?
Day one, people were definitely business professional. Like if you have a blazer, I would bring a blazer. I wear dress pants. I wore like comfy tennies, you know, like kind of the cute comfy tennies because I definitely wanted something that wouldn't give me blisters. So I would try to be as professional as you can be. You don't necessarily need to wear a blazer. I would say it was kind of all over the spectrum. There are people that were like in like full-on suits. And then there are people that were like still dressy, but maybe more on the business casual side. So I would say like maybe you could kind of go in the middle of that if you're a little bit unsure. And then day two, you'll get that Vanderbilt business shirt. And I believe I wore either jeans, like nice dark jeans, or kind of just dress pants with that. That one's more casual, and all the other women from the other programs will also be wearing their shirts from their respective schools.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Right. I also wore blazer and black pants, and I wore heels, so I couldn't feel my fit at all at the end of the event because
Oh,
I do recommend wearing comfortable shoes.
I just did a 4-day conference like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And yeah, I made the mistake of wearing heels and I just died at the end of
Mhm.
oh,
it.
oh goodness. Yeah, but Friday y'all would say like dress like a business professional, and then Saturday you can wear the t-shirt and be a little more dressed down.
For sure. Yeah.
Great.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
This is also really good advice about like the shoes and the outfits and all. But I know a few of you mentioned resume and getting that reviewed. Is there like a particular place that we can get that done before the conference, or I don't know how the CMC would like us to reach out about that?
I love this question. Do y'all mind if I take it?
I think it's for you, Courtney.
So you now have access, or you should, if you have your VUNet ID, then you have access to 1220. And within that system are all things CMC. So in there, there's an appointments tab on the left side, or is left this for you? I don't know. And you can sign up with any of us. You'll see my name, but then whatever's honestly fits your availability is what I would tell you to sign up for. So there's 4 MBA coaches. Those are who will populate. We have different concentration areas, but we've all done this for like 10 plus years. So we can help in any way. And I believe the resume deadline for Forte, Mari was talking about that app they have, is maybe later in May. As soon as we have confirmation and information, we can send it out to you, but use 1220 and sign up for an appointment.
Yeah,
Anything
they
that we
have
should
a,
prepare?
you
Oh,
can put
sorry.
your name in for a gift card raffle if you upload your resume before May 11th. But there's, yeah, I think they just want more people to sign up and do it.
Yeah, the
Anything, Courtney, that
link.
you'd like us to prepare before the resume review?
My gosh, y'all are so good. So there is there we have an Owen template, and within 1220 there is a resource folder that says incoming class of MBA 2027. And it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 step guide. And one of those steps is redo your resume, sign up with a coach, and here's the template that we'll work off of. So it's helpful. It'll make more use of your time if you put it into that template. So we're not talking about the template as much, but more the content of your resume. If you're not, this is a tight turnaround with Forte. So I do understand if you're not able to do that prior to your first meeting, that's reasonable. But if you do, it'll make the meeting that you have that much more fruitful.
I'm trying to remember correctly. I believe Alexis and Rosie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe before the Forte conference last year, you put like I put a bunch of information about myself and even answered some questions in the Forte profile. And then it was like interactive and it told me like maybe some companies that I should talk to. Am I remembering that correctly?
Think so. I remember putting in like detailed information about myself. So I think so.
Okay. And I felt like that was really worthwhile because, like I said, I was going in a little bit more exploratory. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That maybe wasn't a company that I would have thought of. So I remember it did take like maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. So you just have to, kind of just take the time to do it. But I felt like it was worth it.
Yeah, I did this yesterday, so yeah, just the same.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
And I feel like within that you say which companies you like or something, and
Yeah.
then you're like following them, and that can be helpful.
Yeah, the
For
app
sure.
is helpful. I remember like for our sessions using it like for the day because you can just see like where everything is, like all the different things going on. It's all just obviously like on your phone. So I find that very helpful. And the resume deadline, just to go back on that, is May 25th at the latest.
Okay, so May 11 is that gift card, and then
What's
May
the
25.
gift card for? Like Amazon?
I mean, whatever. I would take it. Yeah.
I don't know. It just says for a raffle for a gift card. So I was like, well, I have my resume ready. I might as well upload it.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
I think it's really crucial to submit all of the information and the resume because there's a possibility that you might can get email from the company that you'll be a great fit to our company and it'll be great opportunity for you to come to our booth and talk to us. So I highly recommend to submit the resume.
I would, the other thing I know, like, all of us were more of just kind of like networking and exploring different concentrations. But if you are more like, if you know exactly, the companies that you want to recruit for and kind of the path that you want to take, you can definitely be a lot more targeted, if that's what you desire at Forte. And I think it would be a great opportunity to do so. I do know that other women who went last year were a bit more targeted and spent time doing those coffee chats. And I do know someone who had a few interviews and actually got 2 offers at Forte last year. And I believe second years, the year before us, there were a few women who got some offers as well. So don't feel like, just because we were more in that exploratory phase, that doesn't mean that you have to be. So whatever is right for you guys.
I have a question. Um, so I'm currently in real estate and I think that I'm also going to be getting my Tennessee real estate license, and potentially even going to be doing real estate while I am doing or getting my MBA, which I know I've been advised against by multiple people that it's very hard to work and get your MBA at the same time. But I have yet to kind of one of the nice things about my current job is I can kind of take on clients as I so choose. So I've yet to kind of see how things are going to play out with real estate for me. So with my LinkedIn profile, I currently have it set up to like show that I'm currently working with my current real estate company. And I know that Mackenzie sent out a few months ago that if you're going to Vanderbilt, you can kind of put it as like a header that you're, an incoming class or you're part of the incoming class. Do you guys recommend that for our LinkedIn that we put that? What is your recommendation for the people that kind of are still working? Have you seen it? Like, does it really matter? What are your thoughts on your LinkedIn profile? What do you recommend for the LinkedIn piece? Sorry, and I'm in a coffee shop, so it's kind of loud. I don't know if you can hear my background noise or not. So sorry
No,
about
we
that.
can actually. So you're good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, good.
I'm gonna say it does depend. Okay. So that's the MBA answer that you're gonna be very familiar with. However, if Keller Williams knows that you're exiting to go to school and or staying with them, then I think it's an opportunity for you to start leaning on the EDU. And so I would lean towards incoming MBA just because that puts you in an MBA pipeline, which is why you're going to Forte and probably what they're going to be looking for. However, the tagline will still allow space to mention real estate. Um, and so if I were you, I would include the MBA piece. Um, However, I could see that's not like a rule. Um, you can take it for what it is, but in my mind, you get these 2 years with an EDU, and it's very valuable to have that pipeline, and that's sort of where I would land with that. Any second years would say otherwise? I don't know.
I had kind of a similar situation, Kelsey, but a bit different. I've been working on the side, kind of a side gig situation for a family company. And am still working for them on the side. Probably less intense though, actually, than working real estate while getting my MBA. Just since it's a family business. I used to have that on my resume and my LinkedIn, and I actually coming into MBA deleted it just because I felt like it would cause confusion. People I thought would ask questions and be like, "Hey, like, so you're working for this company and you're getting your MBA full time?" And I thought during the recruiting process too, it might be a bit confusing. Um, but like, if you are doing it because you feel like it's going to add value to your recruiting, like, having that real estate experience, then maybe I'd say otherwise. For me, I didn't feel like it added much value. I felt like I already had a good amount of experience, especially in what I was doing for this family business. But I just had decided to delete it.
I also think it's like a good, quick visual touch point when you're reaching out to alumni because they're all working very busy, intense jobs. So, and you're sending these like LinkedIn messages trying to like have these coffee chats with alums sometimes. So I think it's really easy for them to see like that you're also part of Vandy and not have to like actually call the message and might actually like spur a quicker response that way too and kind of help with your networking if you kind of have that Vandy touch point. That's like pretty easily
Sure.
accessible for alum.
Yeah, and I'm literally just talking about like the picture at the top, if you know what I'm talking about. Like I'm gonna keep all of the Vandy EDU thing. It's literally just the picture at the top because right now
So
it
like
just
right
says
under it. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So I wasn't sure if I should change it, to just the picture, So, um, but I've just kind of been avoiding it because I'm not sure how many like clients of mine currently see that like I'm going to grad school. So I don't want them to see that like I'm leaving the market. So I just haven't switched. But I don't really even know how many clients even look at their realtors LinkedIn anyways. So it is what it is. But I just was curious. So
Yeah.
thank you
The client
guys.
piece and the client piece and the timing of your exit is tricky. Um, so I don't know, but I think under that picture, like when you can get Vanderbilt in that tagline, I would do it. To Alexis's point, that's also a really good point, Alexis. It's like that's what they see when they pull you up, and they're probably inclined to just, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But
For sure. Thank you, ladies.
I have one quick question. I see that everybody has similar headshots. Is that something that we do like week one of Wendy? Okay.
Yeah, you'll do that of orientation. So the week before classes start, you'll do that. You'll sign up either the first or second day. So I think I took mine on the very first day.
They all look really nice.
Thank you. And if you don't like them, I know last week they were redoing some headshots. I think for second years as well, just because it's 2 years, you might want to redo one. So yeah.
well, I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes. I know some folks have some questions, but I just want to say a huge thank you to Rosie and Mari and Alexis, especially because I know y'all have tapped out and you finished. So I wrangled you back in, and y'all are so willing to help. I just want to say thanks. And then I'm going to speak for you all. I bet that these women would offer to have further conversations or answer questions if you all have any. They're in the Vanderbilt system. You also will become familiar with LinkedIn. So if you want to reach out to them, I'm sure they're inclined to help. But you can also reach out to me. I'm around. So just thank you, thank you, thank you. And Mackenzie and I are excited to see y'all.
Yay, it'll be fun.
Reach
Thank
out if you guys
you.
need anything, but enjoy it. It's a really fun conference. You guys will have fun meeting one another, and the whole process is great.
Courtney has been talking about Forte dinner since the first time I met her.
I know. I
Yeah.
love it. It's
So
such a good way to start off the year. Oh, yeah, I'm excited for y'all. Thank you so much.
thank
Rosie,
you.
have
Thank
fun
you.
at home.
Bye.
I just want to touch on one thing
Oh, yeah.
about mind control because
Mm.
thinking about like interviewing and coffee chat, everything. So for me, I didn't have any interviews at the conference. I felt so overwhelmed experiencing jet lags and like I don't know what's going on here, and especially hearing like other folks get invited to a private lunch, which I didn't even know that kind of thing existed. So, but I told myself, okay, I made it here, and I showed up here. Just doing this is already something I'm proud of. So that was my version of mind control. So I recommend to have your own version of mind control, and it'll work out well at the end. Later on, even though I didn't get an interview invitation, I used that Forte resources like the names that I got and the conversation I had. I put them, all of them into my cover letter and tried to make my cover letter really dialed in. So it was really helpful to do that. So I just want to say, be proud of yourself and have your own version of mind control.
And last thing, because you don't have dinner on your second night or I think your first night there Friday, like don't have dinner. So we decided to like go to a bar and then go get pizza. And it was like such good bonding times. Like it's important to network, but also like really get to know your peers because it's just like such a good starting point. So if you have a moment to be like, hey, we're all gonna go do something like that, like have a little moment of like fun too, where you guys can like bond as a group.
Totally agree. That was fun. And it was so cool on the second day. Last thing I'll say too is like we're all wearing our, I know we just had all this at the end.
No, I love
Wearing,
it.
like
Go.
our school shirts. And truly like maybe you guys probably felt the same way. Like I felt super proud to represent Vandy. And so it's just like this great mindset that I had that I was really proud of like the MBA program that I was going to and to be able to like show it off in a shirt and then like see all the other women and see where they were going. And so like yes, it's a great bonding time for like the other Vandy woman, but then I remember there was some other woman that I had like seen at different prospective student events and I'm like, oh, you're going there, awesome, so it's just like an incredible time to meet women who are like-minded, who are motivated, kind of going through the same process that you are.
100%.
Y'all are awesome. Oh my gosh, so sweet. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, if you have extra questions and want to stay on, please do.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
See everyone.
Yeah.
I think Callie had a question for
Hey
me.
there, yes.
Hi,
I had a
what's
question
up?
for either one of you. Hi, I'm Callie.
Hi.
I'm a third-year medical student right now. We'll be doing kind of the dual degree program, so 1.5 years. And I'm super excited for Forte. There are a lot of like interesting